So for my PAT versus HD 450, we had our before meeting prep assessment and data inventory for phase one. The content area mainly focused on reading, language arts. The grade level was kindergarten and some first grade assessments were thrown in there. My school that I worked with was Charleroi Elementary School, which has 712 students. The overall teacher ratio is 14 students for every 5 teachers, and they have 52% on free or reduced lunches. For the phase two, the first data meeting where we were reviewing existing data and asking questions, we mainly discussed that most of the class was at core level and that there were not many students in the intensive levels in any of the subject areas or any of the assessments. We were wondering why the phoneme segmentation fluency was harder for the students than the non-fluency words. We looked at the adaptions for students to see if there's any students that had needs that weren't being met or that were being met that we didn't know about, or if anybody was on an IEP or had adaptions, because that information was not provided with the assessment. For phase three data meaning the triangulating the data, we discussed what artifacts that we were given and we put them up to start discussions, and we looked at how each of the artifact was used in the classroom to see what the importance was so that we could answer questions and continue on with our understanding of the data and how it was being used in that classroom. For phase four, our third data meeting, we determined the gaps in the goals. We looked at the assessments that we were gathered and what we were doing with them. We had oral assessment. There was DIBELS at the kindergarten level, and there was also a kindergarten curriculum map. We were also provided with a lesson that was for a first grade classroom. For data meeting five, our plan of action, we really focused on small group. We had them doing sentence counting since they struggled with how many words were in a sentence, and that's one of their core standards. And we also worked with graphic organizers and word cards and sentence piecing items so that we were able to make it a more hands-on experience instead of worksheets and the stuff that we had on the assessment. We were trying to step out of that. For the review, my mentor teacher said that it would work in the classroom. It looked good. There for her district and her specific classroom and how their reading specialist works, she only focuses on letters and sounds with DIBELS. And also she said that it would be kind of out of her department area as a teacher and more in the reading specialist area. So for the revision, I would just allow the reading specialist portion to be fully reading specialist instead of classroom teacher or reading specialist. That way the reading specialist would focus on the letters and sounds with the DIBELS and to avoid that. For the self-assessment and reflection, I was able to see that I was able to communicate with my mentor teacher and my peers in a more comfortable way than previously. It was a good experience being able to collaborate, and I definitely didn't have a lot of experience in that section before, so collaborating to decide what to do with the information and how to approach it in a different way that would most likely help the students was beneficial and really showed me I had some strength in that area. And I was also able to read and understand the data when it was sent to us. I was confused, and once I started looking at it and reviewing it, I was able to see that I understood it. And some areas I need to grow on would be understanding where professionals step in, since I don't have any experience in planning lessons with a specialist, they're normally in my lessons for adaptations or that kind of thing, but understanding like where they step in and where the general teacher steps away in many different concerns is where I need to grow on. And then creating assessments for specific needs. Normally I create them off a standard, not off of a classroom of kids, knowing them and having information based off of where they are learning at, where their levels are, what they're good at. It's more just focused on what my standard is and what I need to accomplish. So that's another area that I need to grow on. And my references,